Hello, and welcome back to Growing Up in Scientology. So the title of today's video is How to Get Someone to Leave Scientology. And I'm going to lead off with the reveal, and then I'll fill in the context. So it kind of goes without saying that first you have to answer the question for yourself. Is it your business to get this person to want to leave Scientology? This video assumes that it is. Right? That can be many different scenarios, but we're just going to assume it is your business and you've made it your business. So if you were to say to a Scientologist, you know, have you gone clear yet? And they'll probably say no, because the vast majority of Scientologists have not. But this would apply even if they had attested to the state of clear. By the way, L. Ron Hubbard defines the state of clear as someone who no longer has their own reactive mind. And the reactive mind is Scientology's version of the unconscious mind. L. Ron Hubbard says the reactive mind is the source of all essentially emotional and mental distress and most illnesses. The reactive mind creates psychosomatic illnesses, for anyone who's not familiar with that term. So if you said to a Scientologist, have you already gone clear? And they say, no, I haven't. And if you were to say to them, well, you know, I heard that all you have to do to go clear is say, I just realized I've been creating my own reactive mind this entire time, and now I'm not doing that anymore. I've heard that's all you have to do to go clear. Is that true? Okay, so that's the reveal. Now let me fill in the context. Okay, so this phrase that I just gave, I technically, if I recall correctly, the phrase is, I just realized I've been mocking up my own reactive mind all along, and now I'm not doing that anymore. Mocking up is a Scientology word, which means just creating with your mind. This phrase is the most confidential piece of information in Scientology. This phrase, and the fact that this phrase is called the Clear Cognition, it's more confidential than Xenu, it's more confidential than body thetans, it's more confidential than thetan clusters. In Scientology, the word cognition is, it means a realization about life. That's the literal definition in Scientology. And this phrase is called the Clear Cognition. It is the realization that someone is supposed to have, combined with how they're supposed to say it, that provides the evidence that someone has gone clear. So what does this phrase have to do with getting somebody to leave Scientology? Well, let me explain. So I could probably give many reasons why people stay in Scientology as long as they do. And fear of disconnection is one of those reasons. Fear of losing one's family, etc., if someone leaves. I do not believe that's the main reason. I think the main reason people stay in Scientology as long as they do is the faith that they have that something truly amazing lies ahead. I've told many people on many occasions that there really isn't much that you can do to reach inside the bubble and change someone's mind about the importance of what they're doing in Scientology. I've said that someone in Scientology would pretty much already have to have been pushed well beyond their own breaking point of what they were willing to put up with and what they were willing to experience. And this is usually something like just some really major injustice, before they would even be willing or able to receive and process information that would lead them to believe that the hopes and the dreams that they've been being sold in Scientology are lies. But I started giving it more thought recently, and it occurred to me that it would be possible to reach inside the bubble and plant a seed of doubt that would almost certainly grow into something much bigger over time and put them on the road to opening their eyes about whether what they're doing is really as important as they think it is, and whether what they're doing is really important enough to, for example, throw their family away for. And so here's where this clear cognition comes in. Here's why this is important. There's so much mystery built up in Scientology around the state of clear and this clear cognition. Among Scientologists who have not yet attested to clear, which is the vast majority of Scientologists, the clear cognition and the state of clear is built up to be so important and mysterious that if they were to learn that this stupidly simple and ridiculous statement is all it takes to become clear or to prove that you are clear, it would likely make them wonder, well, if that's all there really is to the state of clear, and if that's all there is to the clear cognition, then I wonder if the OT levels are really everything that they're cracked up to be. When I personally first read the Clear Cognition, it's something that I searched for and found online after I had already mentally checked out of Scientology. I was already out of the game, and I was not interested anymore, and I was not going back. And yet when I found the Clear Cognition online and I read it, I was so pissed off. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's it? That stupid phrase? That's the highly confidential Clear Cognition? What a fucking sham. That is how pissed off I was. And I didn't even have any skin in the game. I didn't even care anymore. At least I didn't think I did. If that's the effect that learning what the Clear Cognition was had on me, chances are it would have a similar effect on those who do still have skin in the game. So let's just talk a little bit more about this aspect of mystery and how it keeps people in Scientology and how this applies to the clear cognition and the state of clear. So regarding Scientology's bridge to total freedom, which I never know how many people watching these videos already know all this stuff that I'm talking about. The bridge to total freedom is just basically the chart that lays out all of the different levels of auditing progressing from the bottom to the top. And that's all, I'm just gonna leave it at that for right now. So regarding Scientology's bridge to total freedom, L. Ron Hubbard explained to Scientologists that it's not even possible for one to be able to conceive the amount of gain obtainable spiritually and mentally on the levels beyond the level that a person is currently working through. He explains the entire endeavor of Scientology in a way that makes the entire bridge mysterious by saying that it's not even possible to know or have a concept of what lies ahead and what it will mean for you. So, you know, in some respects, I feel like I bought into the Scientology story and was as dedicated to it as anyone could possibly be. In other respects, there are certain other respects where I feel like I never fully bought in. And this is an interesting contradiction that as I keep doing videos, I'll look forward to kind of exploring this and discussing it further. But for example, I never personally ever looked forward to receiving auditing. I never wanted auditing. And I was a staff member and later a Sea Org member. And yet I had this thing where I just didn't want to get auditing. I had this idea that I would have to talk about myself. I didn't want to talk about myself. I didn't like talking about myself. And it's just something I never got over. And yet there were many auditing actions that I did receive that I very much enjoyed. And I felt like I got gains out of it. And yet still, even after auditing where I felt like I had some good gains, I still never actually wanted or desired further auditing. And that's an interesting contradiction. And yet, even though I didn't personally desire to receive auditing, I was still on the hook, big time, for this mystery of the bridge to total freedom. I very much wanted to be someone who was recognized as having achieved the state of clear. I very much wanted to find out what was on the OT levels and experience all of these wonderful things that Scientologists are told you experience on the OT levels. I didn't know how that was ever going to happen or how I was going to get there because I had this little problem where I didn't like to get auditing. But I did know that I wanted to achieve those states. I wanted to find out what that mystery was all about. So the materials that explain how to determine when someone has achieved the state of clear are highly confidential in Scientology. And I'm going to say they're even more confidential and more closely guarded than the OT levels themselves. And I say this because there are less Scientologists in the world who have taken the course that teaches the criteria for how to determine when someone has achieved the state of clear. There's less Scientologists in the world who've done that course than there are Scientologists in the world who have done the OT levels and have heard the story about Xenu and body thetans and thetan clusters. The course in Scientology that teaches you the criteria is called the Clear Certainty Rundown Delivery Course, or CCRD Delivery Course for short. To do this course, you have to already be clear. You have to be a Class 5 graduate auditor. You have to be part of an approved of a 3-man delivery team working at a Scientology org. And this course can only be done at an advanced Scientology organization, which is defined as one of the organizations that actually deliver the OT levels. And there's only 6 of those in the entire world. There's one in LA, there's one in Clearwater, there's one in Copenhagen, there's one in St. Hill, England, there's one in Sydney, Australia, and there's one on the ship called the Freewinds, Scientology's private ship. So even people who have attested to the state of clear do not know what it is they did or said in the auditing session that convinced the auditor and the case supervisor that they achieved the state of clear. A case supervisor is someone that reviews all of the auditing notes after the auditing session is finished and decides whether the auditing was done correctly or not. Even the auditor who audits someone to clear does not know what the pre-clear, a pre-clear is someone who's getting auditing that's not yet clear. They do not know what the pre-clear did or said in the auditing session that caused the case supervisor to determine that it looked like this person went clear. That's how secret this thing is. Only the personnel who have done the CCRD delivery course know the criteria. And I'm saying all this and I'm putting it many different ways and I'm giving different examples of how secretive this thing is, just to properly illustrate how built up the magnitude of this highly confidential clear cognition is and how built up it becomes amongst Scientologists. Scientologists get to the point where they think going clear is this earth-shattering moment where you have a realization that once it's articulated in the correct words, completely obliterates the entire reactive mind. And you experience this fucking earth-shattering event where all of a sudden everything opens up and you see the true nature of everything. And if I'm exaggerating it, if it seems like I'm exaggerating it, it's only because this is actually how built up this gets amongst Scientologists, because it's a mystery. So that's how it was for me. I know that's how it is for a lot of other Scientologists, whether they're on staff or whether they're in the Sea Org or whether they're just public. So if you have someone you know in Scientology and you're trying to figure out how to wake them up to the fact that they're involved in a scam, but you don't know what to do, this is what you can do. Figure out how to bring this up to them in a conversation. Again, have you attested to clear yet? Why, no, I haven't. Well, I hear that all you have to do to attest to clear is say that you just realized that you've been creating your own reactive mind all along and that you're not doing that anymore. Is that true? So their first reaction will probably be, that's not true. Of course not. That's stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you're just a silly non-Scientologist. You don't know what you're talking about. Then they'll think about it for a second. And then they'll remember, oh shit, there's a clear cognition. Maybe that's what they're talking about. And then they might start freaking out that you might have actually just let slip to them this super secret piece of information that they are not supposed to know. And then they might even get really angry at the idea that if you just actually gave them the super secret clear cognition, that you might have blocked their path up the bridge, up Scientology's bridge to total freedom. Because if they already know what the clear cognition is, then how could they possibly figure it out in session? How could they ever know if they truly achieved the state of clear in the future if they already knew what it was they were supposed to say in the auditing session? So don't be surprised if there's some anger involved when they start to suspect that you might have actually given them the clear cognition. But give it a few days. The more they think about this, the more they're going to wonder how the clear cognition could be something so fucking basic and stupid as, I just realized I've been making my own reactive mind all along. And now I'm not doing it anymore. I'm clear. This approach may not be for everyone. But up until now, I have been saying that there's nothing you can do to wake someone up until they have already been pushed beyond their breaking point and are willing to look for themselves. And now, I'm saying there's another way. Now, many people who have done the CCRD delivery course, I understand if they feel I'm mischaracterizing. Technically, it's not true to say that saying this is all you have to do to go clear. I recognize that. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to plant that seed of doubt by actually giving them truth. This is the actual clear cognition. In a technical manner, there are other things that the auditor and the case supervisor are looking for to determine if someone actually went clear. Doesn't matter. Not the purpose of this video. Okay, I've kept it relatively short. I've kept it on message. That's all I'm going to do for now. See you guys soon.